bunch of weird stuff is going to happen in the background of that mansion. And just in the footage we saw, I feel like there was different members of the X-Men hanging around and watching people just like duke it out in the front yard. And you get Gambit having a cigarette on the side there.
Yeah, it's all like a Sentinel walking around in the background. I saw like Burke Angel.
Those Sentinels are not good at their job. They're like this, there's like a giant mutant fight happening right there, and they're just like, no, did you say anything? Now, this would have been a very easy segue when we were talking about the Blaze Blue stuff. One of the biggest games that got shown off was, of course, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Is it Spirits? Soul?
Fighting. I thought it was Fighting Spirits. I don't know. Now we got to guess for. I'm doing a quick Google search.
I don't know what I'm Tokon about. But yeah, this game looks sick. I love that this exists. I got very excited because one of the big reveals was the X Mansion. Sorry, Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. It's just like as a backdrop, I don't know, like this is a universe that I love very dearly, and I love what they're doing, that they're sort of infusing anime aesthetics and sensibilities with these like iconic characters, and just I love that Marvel's letting them play in this sandbox and not being like, oh, it's gotta be this particular way. And again, as this Arc System works, like I feel like they just do some completely off the rails character design, and they're just having fun with it, and it looks sick as hell. And they got all these, like, they showed off the different areas of the Savage Land. They got all the different dinosaurs in the background. They got Kazar's Treehouse, which is the funniest name for a level, and Brachiosaurus Forest. And then they showed off the X-Mansion, and then I love afterward the devs came on and they were like, hey, we regret to inform you that this front lawn of Xavier's mansion is it's only one area. It's not all other parts of the mansion, but a bunch of weird stuff is going to happen in the background of that mansion. And just in the footage we saw, I feel like there was different members of the X-Men hanging around and watching people just like duke it out in the front yard. And you get Gambit having a cigarette on the side there.
Yeah, it's all like a Sentinel walking around in the background. I saw like Burke Angel.
Those Sentinels are not good at their job. They're like this, there's like a giant mutant fight happening right there, and they're just like, no, did you say anything? Yeah,
this game looks beautiful, man.
This game is gorgeous, and it's we actually had a whole show planned to talk about Marvel games previously, prior to finding out there was going to be a state of play. And one of the things I want to talk about is they just had an interview with Game Informer with one of the head folks at Marvel Games. Hold on, I'll pull up the name here in just a second. Doing great. Luca Mentes, who's general manager of Marvel Games, basically talked about a bunch of the games that are in the works currently. And you've got, obviously Marvel Rivals is doing really well right now. That's huge. I feel like that was a big leap of faith. And when that was initially in the works, there was a lot of skepticism about it being free to play, about it being too grabby. And then a lot of people really got into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just enjoyed its anniversary not too long ago, a couple days ago, and they've added Marvel Zombies to the game as like a PvE thing. It's pretty impressive, the stuff that they've been doing with that game that does seem to really grab the Overwatch audience, if I'm being 100% honest.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, you've got the Marvel Fighting Souls, the name we can't remember.
Fighting Souls, there you go.
Fighting Souls, which again, it's like Arc System Works did this with Dragon Ball Z with fighters, and I feel like Capcom completely dropped the ball with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And if this kind of swoops in and grabs that, fast-paced 2.5D combo-based fighting game corner, I think that could very well cement it as like a mainstay.
Yeah, and I think it's completely like captured the spirit, or the soul rather,
there it is,
of the Marvel vs. Capcom art style that always like stuck with me. Like to this day, I still think it's one of the most beautiful looking pixel arts I've ever seen put on a screen. And this feels like the next logical step of that, like in this kind of cell shaded look. But the thing that stands out to me about this game, and they talk a little bit about it in this presentation, is that they aren't doing it just for the people who grew up playing Marvel vs. Capcom. This is very much like taking into consideration a lot of the more recent Marvel developments. We have the younger Ghost Rider here, which I think is just a nice touch. He has his hot rod instead of his motorcycle.
You know what that immediately made me think of? Red Line.
Oh, dude, yes.
Red's gunning it in a muscle car, just like at that, Ford, that really exaggerated perspective looks so much like the anime Red Line, which is just
an Alzheimer's beautiful looking anime. Yeah, I mean, we see the shot right there.
It's not just a deliberate red line.
Yeah, we see the car getting stretched out. That's really cool. I didn't even think about that.
So good.
Good call.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of multiple Marvel games we're getting currently. Right now, there is Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which is coming out, I think, the same week that this has its open or closed beta.
Yeah.
That is the one from the team that did Shredder's Revenge, which
Very exciting.
yeah, and it's, I don't know, it looks phenomenal. Like, it has this wonderful sense of deja vu where like a bunch of the characters in it did get side scroller beat 'em up games back in the olden days, or did get arcade games. And then they're throwing in a bunch of new ones. Like, they got like Beta Ray Bill is in there for, so like, that's horse.
So that's wild.
What's he doing there? It looks like a really good time. And I don't know, I like the sheer variety of games we're getting. We're also getting Deadpool VR, which is unfortunately exclusive to Meta Quest 3, which I don't have one of those kicking around. And I think it's by a Meta-owned studio. What are they called? Twisted Pixel. So it's unlikely it's ever going to come to PSVR 2, but if it does, that would be really cool. And you know, again, we're such a long way from where Marvel games used to be.
Oh yeah.
They used to be kind of in a similar boat to what happened with the movies, where they would just farm out the licenses every which way, and people would just kind of make, like, some people would try and some people would make complete crap, and you really had no way of gauging it. And you were also probably 8 years old at the time, so even if it's crap, you couldn't tell. But it feels like they've really managed to rein things in, and it's so cool to see. And of course, we're getting Wolverine next year. There's also 1943 Rise of Hydra from Amy Hennig's studio, which was Skydance.
That just got delayed, right?
That got delayed at a very, I feel like they were waiting for GTA to delay, and they were just like, we're also delayed, and no one's mad about it because they're mad at GTA instead of us. But
I mean, it's just, yeah, as you point out, it's Marvel games of different styles, varieties, and I think scope as well, which, you know, you have your Insomniac's Wolverine, which is on one high end, along with Marvel Rise of Hydra, is that what it's called? 1943?
Yep.
But you have all that stuff, and then you have the smaller stuff like the Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which is a little something for everyone, as we like to say here at IGN.
Well, it's also, it seems like they're kind of tailoring the game to the character and like what makes sense here. And I don't know, growing up, it's like you got a lot of side-scrolling platformers, and sometimes they would be like, yeah, it's about Spider-Man, and it would work okay, and other times it'd be like, yeah, it's about 6 different playable X-Men, and it sucks because we couldn't balance all of them, because that's hard to do. And it's like, well, I don't know, one person can teleport, the other person can control the weather, one guy can't die. How do you make a good game out of that? It's kind of impossible. So yeah, it's cool to see them kind of zeroing in on that. There's also an Iron Man game in the works at some Nebula, I think it's Motive actually, it's working on that. And then there's Blade at the studio that gave us Dishonored.
Is that Arcane Leon?
Arcane Leon, yeah, which is just feels like such a good fit.
Yeah, an immersive sim Blade, yes please.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's just nice to see these things kind of going in all these different directions. So I'm happy about it.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip from Beyond, IGN's weekly PlayStation show. You can find the full episode over on youtube.com/IGN Games. And don't forget, new episodes of Beyond drop every Wednesday on IGN.com, the IGN Games YouTube, and all your favorite podcast platforms. Thanks again for watching, and as always, Beyond.